Is Dakar Desert Rally worth buying? Find out right here, right now. Greetings Rommies and welcome to RomRom.net, the channel sharing the joy of sim racing and to a regular review of sims, racing games and whatever could interest you. Welcome to the channel, thanks for stopping by. My name is Serta and I will be your host for this video. For those among us thirsting for rally or dirt driving, see what I did there, there's more than enough to choose from. Dirt Rally 2 is still a quite good entry, there's the WRC sims, there's even Wreckfest which you can set up for clean races on dirt or semi-dirt tracks. And there's the older Dakar game which we won't comment about here because our mamas told us to always be polite. And now this new Dakar Desert Rally game has appeared on the horizon. Made by Saber, the company that brought us SnowRunner with its incredible graphics and quite unrealistic physics, but we love it anyway. It brings the promise of emulating all those daring people driving all manner of motorized vehicles into the desert. We got a key for free from Saber and got to test it as thoroughly as we could in the 4 days since it's come out. More than enough to get a first feeling of how it drives and what it's about. Let's start with the bad news. Dakar Desert Rally only works with the simplest of wheels, no DD support yet, although that support is listed as coming soon on the website, whatever soon means for Saber. Fanatic wheels seem not to work at all and won't work until patch 1.2 or even patch 1.3. So Dakar 18 all over again. Furthermore, and we suppose so as to fulfill the goal of delivering on the expected day without too many bugs, some of the promised parts are coming later for free, including the replay and photo mode which will come next year. And despite keeping deliveries out for the moment, the game's still rough on the edges. Even using one of the supposedly supported wheels, my old and trusted Logitech G29, sometimes the game insisted on setting in reverse gear and didn't change its opinion, forcing me to restart the stage. No matter what I did, it either ignored all my gear change wishes or it changed gears in the HUD, but only there, having me crawling at a snail's pace or not moving at all. We've had reports from other players having those issues also when using a controller, so something's still bugged there. And my co-pilot tried to tell me about waypoints and penalties constantly at the beginning of every stage instead of telling me once and then shutting up. Also, the force feedback is quite primitive, with mostly centering forces in play and not much else. Of course, I'm accustomed to the DD wheel now and I had to get reacquainted with the Logitech force feedback, and even keeping that in mind, the force feedback here is lacking. You may have to fiddle with the force feedback settings to get it where you are accustomed to have it in your other driving experiences. We also had the same feeling on the wheel whether we drove on water, sand, mud or wherever else. And did neither get a different handling in the wheel when airborne after a steep dune or when landing after our flight. Needless to say, the mediocre force feedback doesn't allow for controlled slides or to get back control of your car when you start sliding. You will start racing either in sport mode with tons of help or in so-called professional mode, and the full experience is something you only get after reaching level 25 when you are allowed to drive in simulation mode. We can't say much about that one as we haven't reached level 25 yet. Oh, and it seems you can only unlock vehicles in sport mode, which sounds like a very odd choice, truth to be told. With regards to the co-pilot, while he talks too much, there's always useful information to sift through what he says. We had no female co-pilot, so it's going to be a he. We're still learning to understand everything he says, but we get the impression some of it would be useless in real life, while we concede most of it is useful. The AI reminded me of the standard Assetto Corsa AI, which puts it on a very low level. crashing into you is a sport for them, at least in the so-called tutorial, which is more a way for you to drive different vehicles than a real tutorial with a detailed introduction to desert rally driving, the co-pilot information, and so on. Later, the AI gets a little bit better, like our Factor 2 AI better, or so. That's how we can tell you that damage model is quite good, visually as well as in the physics, and you can either see that you repair your vehicle on the road, losing time, or drive through with a barely functional vehicle and let your mechanics repair it for a price. Sometimes the waypoints obscured the way I had to take, but I suppose I have to learn to listen to my co-pilot more, so I'd say that one's mostly on me. But before you think Saber could do nothing right, we gotta say we love the graphics and the sound design, and driving these vehicles can be quite exhilarating. And the more you drive, the more accustomed you get to everything. Your car, your co-pilot, the information from the force feedback, limited as it is. But getting frame dropouts on a 3080 water-cooled GPU is quite strange, luckily only on cinematic scenes and not while driving. Speaking about graphics, unluckily there is no VR support, and as far as we can see, none planned. In a time when even the F1 games support VR, an odd choice, truth to be told. And let's not talk about the animation of people, quite awkward, but we're not here to watch the people, so it's understandable Saber didn't put much time into it. Still awkward. You can also set up your car in any way you like. We haven't fiddled with setups yet, and unluckily it seems you cannot import or export setups, but it's a great thing to have to maybe try and get the couple of seconds out you need to end up winning. Oh, and you won't be able to drive the Dakar Rally from the get-go. You'll have to drive other rallies first. For me personally, this is less of a problem as I like this kind of progression, and I suppose I'd be utterly lost, in both senses of the word, if thrown directly and hardcore into the Dakar Rally. But some of you may not like this kind of thing. You have been warned. Help us create the content you love and become a patron. Let us spread our wings. Amongst other perks, it will fix your name for posterity like this, but you'll also get to know what we plan and what we're doing. So, a big thank you to our patrons. If you come here regularly, please consider subscribing. What is left to say for us? Dakar Desert Rally is still rough around the edges, but what we saw promises to be a fun SimCity experience in the future, as soon as the force feedback and other issues with controllers are corrected. Especially as you're able to drive 5 different types of vehicles, so 5 times the fun or the frustration. At this state, we cannot recommend it wholeheartedly yet, while it lets shine through that most of the pillars of a fun racing game are there. It's still too unpolished. This bug-ridden state is even more frustrating because this game holds a lot of promise. When it works, it's a ton and a half of fun and quite addictive. You try and try and try again and learn how to better deal with your vehicle, the terrain, the system. When it works. We hope our DD wheel is soon fully supported and can't wait to get back into our car to get a better Dakar Desert Rally experience than what is there at the moment, because the mediocre force feedback and other issues with non-working wheels and even other controllers are what needs the most attention from Saber right now, the graphics being quite good and the sound ranking also quite high, although not as great as Assetto Corsa Competizione or Race Room. To most of you, we recommend to wait until the bugs have been resolved and your favorite controller is supported. Put it on your wish list and watch our news to know about any updates. You don't need to wait to get a further doses of the joy of sim racing, just check the playlist to the left or the video to the right. Until next time, save fuel, collect pickup, and we'll see each other on the podium.